All right. So I think the problem that I found out is there's no converter as of now to convert it into a JSON. And so I started using this application XML here. XML needs a JaxB, which is a library for converting Java objects into XML, XML objects into Java back. And so what I've also done is, apart from this one single change here, I've also gone down to the student class and added this XML root element. This is very important because otherwise you'll not be able to get XML from there. And then once I really, actually hit this particular resource, I start to see XML here as well, which is, we are now able to produce an XML content for our web application. And the same is also valid for a post as well. I mean, I can send it, just that I've not written the code for it. So let's add that code as well. I'm going to go into the student resource class and look at what post should do ideally. Now, as far as post is concerned, it should be able to add a student into the collection, which seems pretty trivial. If you see, all you have to do is just write a similar method over here, and so we'll have a similar method in this case as well. Let's consider it returns the doesn't return anything. Okay, let's have an add student method here, and student map. I'm going to use the put method where I'm going to use the student supplied here. I'll capture the value of the student dot get ID as a long, which comes here, and student here itself. This should really add a student into the list, and I don't have to return this because this is still a void. So all I have to do is use the service and call this particular method. Let's try that out. Remember, all of this is like, as soon as the application restarts, right? So this resets. So whatever you added is now gone. That you should remember. And what I really have to do here is I can use the student service dot add and I'm going to use the student as it is. As far as returning is concerned, I just want to return the same student back that I've added, right? So it's just an indication like no errors happened, etc. And that's all for add, right? Now, as far as post is concerned, I would not be able to post from this browser, because browsers do not have any such facility where you can make a post request. For this, I'm going to use a tool called Postman, and I'm sure like you have worked with it to some extent, but we would take a cleaner approach here. What I'll do is I'll just start to create a collection first of all. All right. So let me call this collection as students, since we're really working on students. And then in this, I'm going to have a request over here. Maybe I'll just add a folder here. Let's call it students again. And this then has a request added on this. All right, let's copy that URL from there. I'll copy it here and save this into the students and then this particular folder right here. So this collection actually has a get method which really does get those resources, or else you can just rename it, like maybe call it fetch all students. This becomes your first method on this, and then you can right click, you can clone this, have another request object right here. You can do all that stuff yourself, right? So collection basically is a collection of the request that you can put in. Let's just add a similar post method here. Now what does it return, by the way? As you send it, you notice this response part of it. This is the request part. If you have to put some request values, you put it here, response comes in here, right? Now what we want to do is we want to create a parallel method, very similar method to this, and I'm just going to copy and paste this thing over here, and we want to call it as create a student, right? Isn't it? We're trying to create a student here. So yeah, again the same thing, and we want to post from here. Now as far as the body is concerned, this is where now we have to specify. All right, we're going to send raw data as the type application XML, right? Now this is where I have to put some XML. So I'll just fetch an XML from here, this record, put it in the request. I'm repeating it again. This is the top thing is request. What you see right response thing is the response that you'll receive from the server. So let's try to receive as ID2. I'll just change the name to, and we'll just try and see, if the post also works for me. I'm expected to receive the same response first. Let's see. So yes, I get the same response here. This has worked, and the second thing that I want to do is just check it here itself. So now that we have got Harshit as well as part of this request. So we have got get and post both working in our applications. I think from here I leave it up to you to be able to update a student and to be able to delete a student from here itself using the XML syntax. And I think later on we also talk about how do we get the JSON app data working on the same application as well.